Dr. Miller, how you doing? I decided to address this towards you because I felt like it was the right thing to do. It's kind of the last thing I'm doing for your class. And I just want to say thank you for a great semester. I've learned a lot. I've learned truly to analyze a text because, one of my cousins, I don't know if I've told you this, she's actually a lawyer. And I was kind of telling her about those steps, and like she truly uses those, and it's just awesome to see. And so I just wanted to let you know that. I don't know why I've never told you that, but I found that out about halfway through the semester, I think when I went home for spring break. But so let's get right into it. So I decided obviously to do a video. So here's my claim. Through Christ, I've learned to deal with my anxieties and my past trauma. Pretty much my history with anxiety is I've had it all my life. I've really, I'm sure you've never really noticed it because I try not to show it in front of people, but I've dealt with it for a long time. And it got really bad to the point where I had to get put on medication. I didn't have to, but I chose to get put on medication because I thought that I needed it. And kind of give you some backstory to this, is whenever I was probably about 10 years old, I used to play a lot of rec league baseball. And we just moved to this new house and we passed by this cow pasture. And every time I'd look out there, I'd always just randomly, every single time, I'd always think about death. And it would truly scare me. And then I'd get back to the house and then I just forget about it. Nothing happened. And I think that kind of, I didn't realize it at the time, but it's definitely kind of rooted my anxiety. And then in high school, of course you have normal anxieties that normal kids have and things like that in junior high and in high school. But my junior year, I go deer hunting with my ex and girlfriend at the time, whatever. And so I didn't want to have to, fart in front of her in the deer stands. I was afraid she was gonna get mad at me. So I just held it in and it ended up having trapped gas on my side. And so it's really funny now that I like to talk about it, now that I'm able to talk about it, thankfully. But it's like trapped gas, they thought my appendix was gonna rupture, so they had to take my blood, do all these scans. And so when they took my blood, I hadn't eaten anything that entire day. And so I passed out 3 different times within the span of a minute. Passed out one time, passed out another, and then passed out one more time. And ever since that day, anxiety just got turned on. I don't know what it was. And so it feels like my anxiety since then has definitely been, turned on almost, definitely been worse. And I've been so terrified to give blood. Even early this semester, it was right before one of your classes actually, I remember I did not want to go. No, I think I ended up not going because I literally had a panic attack 30 minutes before the class, because for my job at the Healthplex, my boss said I may have to give a blood test, and I was like, oh my gosh, what? And I was like, oh, what if I pass out again? I started thinking about it and thinking about that anxiety started spurring up, ended up having a panic attack in my room, and it was horrible. I hated it. I hate panic attacks, but I've kind of learned they're just part of it now. And one thing that I've kind of learned to do is kind of overcome it with Christ. Kind of how my claim says is through these experiences and through everything, through all the trauma and everything I've gone through, I'm able to overcome it with him now. And there was probably one of the most recent times I had a really bad one was about a year ago actually. It was kind of funny to see. At Mold High School, we'd have this awards night, and I really anticipated, I'm gonna get this award for this kid that passed away a couple years ago that knew my brother, and they were really close friends, and my brother was supposed to be in the truck. I was like, I'm gonna get it, I'm gonna get that scholarship. And then I ended up not getting it. But I had the anticipation of going up there that my heart started pounding and things like that. And I literally had to leave. I went to a private school, and leaving during a ceremony was unheard of. No one did it. And so that really embarrassed me. But that was probably the last time I had a really bad panic attack. But the one at the school, it was really bad, and it made me consider getting counseling at the school. And I haven't told anybody this, but I actually did do one counseling session at the school, and I'm probably gonna do it when I get back. Since it was so late in the semester, I was like, yeah, I'm probably not gonna go back. I'll probably come back next year. But I believe it's helpful. I've seen a lot of people's stories with that, and it's one thing I'm definitely trying to work on. But I've definitely gotten better since my junior year of high school as far as anxiety with Christ. Like my claim said, like I just said a second ago, through Christ, I kind of learned to control my anxieties, control all those past negative thoughts of oh my gosh, I gotta give blood. Oh my gosh, I gotta give blood. I'm gonna pass out again. Oh my gosh, I'm scared of death. I'm scared of this. I'm scared of that. Or, anything that I fear that I shouldn't fear. And one thing that I'll do that I kind of learned from an evangelist called Cliff Connectley is he said on a video one time, whenever he wakes up and he gets anxious at nights, or just whenever he's anxious, he recites the Lord's Prayer. And anytime that his mind goes back to what the negative thoughts are, the anxieties, whatever, he restarts the Lord's Prayer. So like, my Father, you are in heaven, goes to that thought, restart. My Father, you are in heaven, hallowed be your name, restart. Things like that. And kind of growing with Christ through that has been so beneficial to me. And I've noticed whenever I don't read my Bible as much, I get more anxious, obviously. Whenever I'm not living for Christ, I'm more anxious and I'm more depressed. But through Christ, through his love, it's truly helped me. And so next thing I'll get into is kind of the two texts that we read that really that really stuck out to me, as far as whenever I was thinking about this project, I was looking back on the text, and the two instantly were two of the videos that we watched, Soft Rain and Umbrella. So the way that kind of soft rain kind of comes into this. So I was talking to some of my classmates. I was actually talking to Ben. It was kind of funny. But so I was like, man, I'm trying to think about how to kind of incorporate this, because like I can in my mind, but I'm trying to figure out how to explain it. And he really helped me with this. And so soft rain, it kind of shows how a single like kind action can change your day or someone else's like day or their attitude. You know what I mean? The man, he wakes up sad, depressed, having to take all these things. But then he meets this woman, and her day, she wakes up, she's tired. You can see it on her face when she first wakes up. She doesn't want to get up, but she gets up and she smiles, and she has a great day. And she's able to impact the man's day to such a degree that he forgets about all the sadness that he's dealing with in life. He forgets about the rain. It turns those little pink balls, it turns into those little, I interpret it as rays of happiness. You know what I mean? And it's beautiful. And it shows me that if I'm dealing with something, just talk to someone. I know some people may not interpret it like that, but that's kind of how I did, is talk to someone about it. If you're going through a hard season in life, talk to somebody. Don't try to hold it in. Don't try to pretend like, oh, I'm a man, I'm just gonna deal with it. No, we have feelings too. We definitely have to talk it out. And if I'm having a bad day, don't just keep on wallowing in my sadness. You know what I mean? Try to be happy. Make someone else's day bright. If I can let's say somebody comes here next year. Let's say a freshman comes here, and I'm having a really anxious day. You know, they're rushing Civitan, whatever, and I take my anxiousness out and I turn it into anger and lash out at them. And let's say they're also having a bad day. That's gonna make them feel even worse, and then I'm gonna feel worse for making them feel worse. But if I push through my anxiety and look to Christ and remind myself of the cross, then I can maybe make that person's day by just being a little bit kinder. And so that's kind of how soft rain like really resonates with me, and kind of helps me remember like, hey, no matter what's going on, always try to be kind, always try to take care of others, always try to, you know, talk to people if you can, or just have a day with somebody. And so the second text, I did this one by myself, but is Umbrella. And to me, it kind of shows how past trauma doesn't have control over our life. We see the young boy who, you know, his father had to leave him because he was a refuge, and I'm assuming he couldn't afford to like keep his child, and so he had to give him up. And the child always remembered the yellow umbrella. And then whenever the girl and her mother comes to drop off the toys, he sees the yellow umbrella and gets super excited. And he has a scarf from his father, and he wants the yellow umbrella, so he steals it because it's the only thing that he has to cling on to his father. And him giving up the umbrella is, in my opinion, his symbolic way, the narrators, I guess animators, symbolic way of showing us that he's now giving up his kind of past trauma, or giving up the trauma of his father leaving him. And he's no longer bound to that. And you see him having a great life. You see him, he gets married to the girl, and he opens an umbrella shop where they sell umbrella and canes. And it's awesome. Like, he's able to put past his past trauma and have a great life. While yes, at the very end, he does run after what he thinks is his father. He runs after him. He thinks he's a child again, trying to catch him, but he falls and he hurts himself. But who's right there with him? The girl. And it's truly beautiful to see. And it's truly beautiful to think that those past traumas, they don't have to have control of us anymore. And walking with someone in life, whether that be your wife or whether that be a friend, maybe it's your parents, you have someone. And even if it's nobody on this earth, if you think everyone's forsaken you, you always have Christ, no matter what. No matter what happens, we know that we always have Christ. And so those are kind of my two videos that I kind of use for this project, I guess. And so the last thing I want to show you is my object. I've already brought it up, I think once or twice, is this cross. Kind of the story about this cross is senior year. Me and my ex had just broken up. 4-year relationship down the drain. I was going through a hard time. And so, I found out that she had cheated, whatever. And so I was going through a very hard time in my life, very dark season. And so we were at this little football conference with the private school I was at and the public school in the area. And we went to this Methodist church. We had a devotional. They fed us. It was awesome. And they gave us all these. It's the wood that historians and philosophers and everyone thinks gopher wood is made out of. Gopher wood is what was used to make the ark for Noah and his family. And I don't know why, but this cross has resonated with me for so long. And you can ask my friends, whenever they're in my truck, if I lose this cross, let's say it just falls or something and I don't see it fall, and I'm like, where's the cross? And I freak out because every time I'm driving, I think I did it earlier, but I just subconsciously did it, is I'll just kiss the cross and I'll say, thank you, God. Because it brings something this simple, brings me back to, hey, if I'm feeling anxious in the truck, if I'm going to an interview, if I'm going to a meeting, just say, breathe. You have God on your side. Don't fear anything. Do not be anxious. I'm going to butcher this, but don't be anxious don't be anxious for tomorrow, because tomorrow has enough worries of its own. And so it's truly helped me just having this simple piece of wood that may not even be true gopher wood. I don't know. But it's just the symbolism of Christ truly helps me. And anytime I'm driving, it's truly beautiful just to have, just to hold. Whenever I had my graduation after that award ceremony I was telling you about, that I got really anxious about. I was really nervous about graduation. I was like, I can't leave during graduation. I can't leave. And I felt almost boxed in. And I carried this with me. And I was just holding on to it. And I was just I would hold it in my hand and I just kissed the cross. And it truly helped me. And this simple piece of wood has been for me more than almost anything else on this earth. And it's not even the wood. It's the idea of Christ. And so that's kind of how I believe Christ has helped me deal with my anxieties and my past traumas, through anxiety, through me feeling like I'm not wanted places, through me with a little bit of depression and just a lot of anxiety. Going back to Christ and running to him has helped me more than anything, anything. Because Christ, I try to make him my firm foundation. And so just being rooted in him has truly helped me. Just try to love more, try to be more at peace with everything that happens, and just really trying to help with my anxiety. And I'm very thankful for my anxiety. I know that sounds kind of weird. Of course, I wish I didn't have it. But I've learned through my anxiety is that God has taught me a lot. He's taught me to don't push someone's mental stuff to the side. Don't do any of that. You know what I mean? Go with Christ and just truly just lean on God, and don't let your anxieties control you. And it's hard, but God has definitely shown me how serious mental health is, how serious leaning on him is. I pray that's everything. I hope that that's everything. I think I covered everything that you told me to. And so I just want to tell you thank you very much. And I just want to let you know I've loved your class and I've truly learned a lot. And so all I say is have a great day, and God loves you.